I've just finished watching the Dying Light 2 gameplay demo reveal, and I'm going to be completely honest, this is coming from a fan of Dying Light 1, a huge fan. I've played so much of that game. I've followed the story, which I don't normally do in games, from start to end, the following DLC, everything. I played a lot of that game. Dying Light 2 is really not, it doesn't look as good as it should do. Don't get me wrong when I say that. The graphics are good, the gameplay does look decent, but I don't think the story to this game is going to have anywhere near as much depth as the first one did with Kyle Crane, which is a shame because we had the main game of Dying Light, then we had the following DLC, and when you're making a second game that has a 15-year gap from the first, there's a lot of stuff you could do to fill that time in between. So I don't know if that's necessarily going to be a good idea. I don't think this story, from the looks of it so far, I don't think it's going to get as much attention as the first game did. It's not that eye-catching. And I'm really hoping, even if it's through Easter egg or anything like that, I'm hoping there is some form of a mention of Kyle Crane. Just because Dying Light as a game, the entire first game was based on that character. So as a fan of it, you're attached to Kyle Crane. And the story that was set by Kyle, I'm just hoping to see at least a reference or two back to the first installment. There are a few good things about this demo that we've seen, and obviously it's only a gameplay demo. There's a hell of a lot more to the game. We just got to see one mission. But in Dying Light 1, you had the parkour, you had the storyline Kyle Crane, you had the nighttime volatiles. There was a lot to it. And in number 2, the first part of the gameplay demo was starting in a bar. We're supposedly fixing taps or something in one of the bathrooms. Then we leave there, we go into the main area, we're talking, and we go upstairs and speak to this guy called Matt or whatever. And then something happens with these people, like the Renegades or something, and I think his name's Frank, gets shot. And then we actually get a story choice. We can either stay with Frank or chase down this truck. We chase down the truck, and that's where we see the parkour. They've doubled the amount of parkour features in the game. And to be 100% honest, of my opinion, I think it looks as though they've rushed with some of the parkour features. They look clunky, they're not smooth, some of them are over the top. And it just looks as though it's going to be incredibly easy to traverse around the city. I wanted there to be a little bit more difficulty in doing so, but you can use so much of the environment, it's actually a positive. It's not just, oh, it looks like they've rushed it, blah, blah, blah. It's actually a positive because you're going to be able to get around easier. And then we're chasing down the truck, we drop into a dark zone, we have a set amount of time of immunity before we become infected, and you can see that by the red and green lights on our, the bracelet thing we have on our wrist. And not only that, the zombies are obviously in a different area, they're more aggressive, they're similar to infected zombies, and that all looks good. And then a really, really nice feature for them to add is the UV flashlight. UV lights have always scared off zombies, they don't really attack if you're standing under UV or whatever, so aiming a flashlight at them, and we've also got the UV flare. That looks pretty good. I also like the part where they mention crafting and modding weapons and stuff is still a thing. And it looks as though we're going to be able to toggle effects on our weapons. So if you've got an electric axe or something, you're going to be able to flip a switch and turn the electricity on. And then we get ourselves out of there, we carry on chasing the truck, we jump on top, we have a cringy fight with the guy that's shooting arrows at us. We knock him off, we jump inside the van, and we intimidate the driver. He takes us to the castle, we enter the castle, we go around sneaking and stuff, and then the stupid driver, he's got some panic mode activated. He raises the alarms so they all know we're there. We go into the big pump room with the colonel, we have a little chat, and we say, right, it doesn't matter, we're going to turn on the pumps. Again, having another story choice, which will dramatically change the way you play, and I love that, just because of what happens when we turn on the pumps. So we clear out the room, there's a big, I wouldn't say he's a boss, but there's a big heavy enemy type. And we take him down, we turn on the pumps fail, so we have to go into the control room, we turn on the main pump, and then the city surrounding the castle gets drained of water, so water goes through the rest of the city, and because of that choice of not trusting the colonel and turning the pumps on anyway, that reveals an entirely new area of the game to explore. There's quests and stuff you can do down there, And what I would like to know, obviously we're not going to find out for a long time, but I like the way they've done it because I would like to know what happens if you decide to trust the Colonel instead of just turning them pumps on. He obviously knows that it's a bad idea to drain it, whatever, he's trying to save himself, but we ignore what he says, we don't trust him, we drain the city, it goes from being flooded, it's all like a waste, like ruined sort of area with moss growing all over the buildings and stuff. It looks cool. I will be getting this game 100%. I pretty much buy every game that comes out that I like the look of in the slightest. Massive fan of Dying Light 1. This is just an opinion based on the gameplay demo. When it comes to more stuff being revealed, when it comes to the full game, I will have a completely different opinion because we've only seen a tiny portion. But so far, I'm not liking the look 100% of the parkour. The story doesn't seem to be that good itself, like the general idea of the story, but I do really enjoy the way the whole of the game is going to change around the decisions you make. Like, it's going to have completely different impacts on the entire game world. And then I like the added features of the UV flashlight, UV flare, the dark zone where you have a set amount of time to get in and get out and do all the stuff you need to do so that you don't become infected yourself. And that is going to do it for this video. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments. What do you think about it? Have you even seen it? I will leave a link in the description to the gameplay demo reveal in case you haven't seen it in full. That's going to do it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.